Major climate chaos around the world. We've got multiple catastrophic events that have been labeled. The first one that I want to share with you, Greenland lost 2 billion tons of ice in one day. Oh, yeah. And India is so hot, the droughts are so extreme out there, and the infrastructure has been interrupted in many areas that entire villages are now gone. 90, 95, 100% in some areas, people have fled because they can't eat. It's so hot, they can't get water. Millions of people are affected. Just a few days ago, headlines about Uruguay, Paraguay, as well as Argentina, millions without power. I've heard rumors of hacking wars going on right now with other countries. There's a lot going on in Iran. John Hogue's going to be on tonight at 9 o'clock Mountain Time. He's going to share a plethora of information with us. There is a lot going on. The good news is you can take control in your own hands. Now, if you're worried about the stock market, if you've got a 401 or an IRA, you can move that into precious metals. You can move it into gold, silver, that you can actually hold in your hands. Check out Noble Gold Investments. They're giving free books to Leap Project listeners. It's easier than ever to get out of the rat race. You can also pick up gold and silver a la carte. Check them out. Noble Gold Investments. Click the links. Okay, now let's go to the first article of discussion here with Greenland. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here. Actually, you know what? Let's do this first. Yeah, Greenland. Let's click on the very top here. You can see it's a catastrophic level event. Now, they rate these from 0 to 5. This is one of my favorite websites, RSOEEDIS, for emergency alert news. They take information from around the world. They map it via Google Maps with a cool icon, and then you can read the latest description and updates. It's a great website for information. I'll leave a link in the video description box. Let's click on the first one here. Climate change. Let's call it climate chaos. Continent-wide. Greenland. Let's look at the details here. Boom. Description. Boom. As you can see right here, I'm going to read it with a better font here. Okay, that's kind of small for my eyes. Hello. And a sign that this year could once again set records for loss in Greenland ice. Researchers have found that the island's ice sheet lost more than 2 gigatons. A gigaton is equal to 1 billion tons of ice in just a day this week due to a widespread melting event. Now, this was June 13th. The calculations showed that over 2 gigatons of ice melted. It was widespread, but it didn't quite get to the summit camp, which was just below 0 degrees Celsius. The high melt is unusual so early in the season, but not unprecedented, said the Greenland Twitter handle of the Arctic monitoring website, Polar Portal of the Danish Arctic Research Institutions. Now, let's jump to India. India, critical infrastructure disruption. I'm going to go ahead and pull off this. Bada bing, bada bang. Right here, critical infrastructure disruption. Description, this is bad. Hundreds of Indian villages have been evacuated as historic drought forces families to abandon their homes in search of water. The country has seen extremely high temperatures in recent weeks, as high as 123 degrees Fahrenheit. On Monday, the capital, Delhi, saw its highest ever June temperatures of 48 Celsius. Now, if you were to convert that into Fahrenheit, I think it's about 120 degrees Fahrenheit, approximately. Now, Churu saw highs of 123.44 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the hottest place on the planet. Now, if you go south, about 250 miles from the country's commercial capital, Mumbai, village after village lies deserted. Estimates suggest that up to 90% of the area's population has fled, leaving the sick and elderly to fend for themselves in the face of a water crisis that shows no sign of abating. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then, if you scroll down into Alaska, Alaska's seeing major bird die-offs because the temperatures are changing. The birds can't get enough food. They're dying in the thousands. We've had millions of cattle die recently. Millions of cattle. Think about that. all of the animals that have died from either freezing temperatures, extreme heat, some type of extreme climate chaos. Nature usually wins. Nature probably always wins. And nature's pissed. If you don't see it, tell me where you live, because you are in a bubble of bizarre proportions. Because practically the rest of the world, now don't get me wrong, there's moments of brilliance. I mean, the weather in Texas, minus those crazy thunderstorms, this storm that I drove into last night got to the point of I was getting ready to, I thought I was going to start seeing tornadoes. It was close, and it got bad really quick. But other than that, the weather's been great in Austin. The weather's been fantastic. We've had some thunderstorms. But the flooding in the Midwest, the amount of snowpack in the mountains, we've had this dry spell for 10 years, and then it's just boom! Grand solar minimum, baby. Solar cycle 25. Not much activity with the sun, a weakened magnetosphere. Japan is dealing with extreme heat. The DR of Congo, the second worst Ebola outbreak in history that is spreading to other countries. And then who cares? Oh, it's bad, but we're not going to declare an emergency because that would just make things worse financially. And then you read reports about how people are leaving Africa, going through Mexico, making it to the U.S. from Congo, from the DR of Congo, and they're sending them to places like Maine and other places around the country. And you know what? If I was out there, I wouldn't want to be there either, would you? I can't blame them for doing that. I mean, this country was founded upon immigration. And what are the precautionary measures to make sure that those hot zones, if it's as bad as they say it is, if it's even 1/10 as bad as they say it is, that's really, really, really bad. I mean, do they have precautionary measures to make sure that people that are fleeing the country do not have Ebola? Because it can take up to a couple of weeks to see major symptoms. So do they have the precautionary measures in place? I mean, ask yourself that question. Put yourself in their position. What if you were there? Would you want to stay there? Or would you want to go to a place as amazing as the United States of America? I mean, it's a pretty awesome country, right? I certainly do my best to put myself in other people's shoes and their situation. Like, what would I be thinking if I was in their position? And then I watch the way the media spins it, and the media shows one article about how the second worst outbreak in history, Ebola, is spreading rampant. Thousands and thousands of people are being infected, and it's got a very high mortality rate. And then you'll see another news article that talks about how immigrants are fleeing the country. They're making it to the U.S., and they're going to different states. They're being flown to Maine. Some people are being sent to Maine. Some people Texas. And hey, I think that's fantastic. We just need to make sure that Ebola doesn't get brought into our borders, right? I mean, I've talked to nurses that told me about the training that they were given for Ebola, and it's ridiculous. They want you to worry more about measles than Ebola, folks. Think about that for a minute. What's wrong with this picture? Really think about that.
Bang! Hi, can I get the extra thigh Marisol, please?
And then if you really think about it, you start to question just about everything. Like, how much of this is fluff? How much of this is controlled wag the dog narrative? I don't know. They obviously don't know because if just use common sense. Common sense. It's priceless. Think. People don't think anymore. They just do. They're repeaters. They see something, they see a headline, and they think they know everything. They tell all their friends on social media. And they tell their friends and family. And they're experts because they read a headline that somebody wrote to get views that their boss told them they had to put together. It's so obvious to me. That's why I think it's a big freaking joke, and I laugh at it and I make fun of it. Because it's a joke. It's a big game, and they're playing the joke on you. And they're laughing at you at the same time. But, it's because they love you so freaking much. They love you like dear. I mean, they love you dearly. They love you dearly. Those are the catastrophic events that I wanted to share with you today. Let me find the one on Alaska here. Okay. Alaska, mass die-off of seabirds and the Bering Sea may be partially attributed to climate change. According to a new study published May 29, 2019, in the open access journal PLOS One by Timothy Jones of the Citizen Science Program, COAST, COASST, at University of Washington. Good job. The birds appear to have died from the effects of starvation. Tufted puffins breeding in the Bering Sea off the coast of Alaska feed on fish and marine invertebrates, which in turn feed on ocean plankton. Elevation of sea temperatures has led to major changes in the ocean ecosystems and has also been linked to previous mass mortality events in marine birds. Now, if you go back to 2014, there was increased atmospheric temperatures and also decreased winter sea ice that led to declines in energy-rich prey species in the Bering Sea, as well as a shift of some species northward, diminishing puffin food resources in the southern portion of the sea. In the current study, Jones and colleagues documented a 4-month-long die-off of puffins and a second species, the crested auklet, on St. Paul Island, one of the Pribilof Islands in the southern Bering Sea. Now, that's approximately 300 miles east of the mainland. Beginning October 2016, tribal and community members recovered over 350 severely emaciated carcasses, mostly adults, in the process of molting. A known nutritional stressor during the avian life cycle, also a reduction in food resources before entering molt, may have prevented many birds from surviving. Now, the authors go on to say, or suggest, or that's what they went on to suggest. Using wind data to model beachings, they calculated between 3,150 and 8,500 birds could have died in that event alone. Now, Devine goes on to add that this paper is a success. It is a successful application of citizen science in the real world. Island residents collecting high-quality data in real time, providing COASST with a detailed context for their analysis. Without the positive and mutually beneficial relationship built over years of collaboration, the massive die-off of tufted puffins would have gone unreported in the scientific community. Great job, you guys and gals. Wonderful job. We need more of you. We need more science in the hands of people that are not bound to a specific academic religion. I like to call them academic religions because much of science is another form of religion. It's dogma. It's dogma. It's amazing how much science is dogma, just like religion. You can find gems in both and a lot of truth in both, and you can find a lot of fluff. And on that note, Prepare with Leak Project, I got them to extend a special. You can get an entire month's worth of food for $147. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, drinks. Or if you want to go with the 2-week, it's $75. It just doesn't have as many food options. It's still amazing. I've got mine in my van. I've been eating it on the road. Comes in a plastic tote, 25-year shelf life. It tastes good. No, it's not all organic. But hey, if you need food, and it tastes good. I mean, I wouldn't recommend eating it for an entire year straight. I'd throw in some fruits and veggies and fresh stuff in there. But when you need it, oh man, it's like a gourmet buffet. Also, Gaia is offering free memberships to Leak Project listeners. I'm going to leave a link in the video description box. Gaia.com/Leak Project. Get a free membership to a awesome channel of more content in spirituality, in fringe, UFOs, just stuff that you're not going to find in the brain drain. It's like the Netflix of enlightenment in many ways. Gaia.com/Leak Project. It's a free experience. Quick shameless plug, not to be mistaken for hair plugs. Hello! Be excellent to each other. Love ya. Be the change you want to see. And hit that subscribe button, will you? And share these with some friends on social media. Thanks.